Hello, everyone. James Swanwick here. A special episode today because I'm speaking to one of the OGs, one of the original gangsters of our Project 90 Stop Drinking program, whose name is John Keltner. And he is celebrating 4 years alcohol-free. We're about to share the story about how he came to be one of our original Project 90 clients. And, what happened on day 90, day 91? Did he go out and get drunk and celebrate with some booze and go a bit crazy? Or did he just continue with his alcohol-free lifestyle for 4 years? December 2022 is 4 years, which is an incredible achievement. And I'm just absolutely thrilled for him. So without further ado, welcome, John Keltner. How you doing, John?
I am doing fantastic, James. How are you?
I'm doing so well. Of course you're doing fantastic because you're 4 years alcohol-free, right?
That's true. Absolutely.
Tell us where you are at the moment and what you're doing. What does a 4-year alcohol-free lifestyle look like?
Well, it just so happens that I'm on a European trip. Now it's based around a work. The company that I work for is actually based here in Salzburg, but my fiance and I kind of wrapped a little trip around it. So we have been in Vienna for a couple days, and we headed here to Salzburg. And from here tomorrow, we're going to head to Zurich, Switzerland for a couple of days, and then over to Paris for a couple of days before we head back to Northern California.
And what are the wines like over there? What's the alcohol like? Is it tasty? Like, have you been enjoying that, John?
I have not been enjoying that. I've been doing the warm punch, which is an alcohol-free drink that they serve over here at the Christmas markets, and it's been really good.
But I don't understand. How can you go on a European trip through Vienna and Salzburg and Austria and Paris and not drink alcohol? Surely you can just enjoy like a glass of champagne or some nice wine over there in Europe, surely.
Sure, you could, I suppose, but I choose not to. So for me, it's the same old, hey, I'll have a soda with a splash of cranberry and a lime.
And what do your friends call you? Because I know you got a nickname, right?
I do. I am the Soda Cran Man.
The Soda Cran Man. And that originated from the early days of you participating in the Project 90 program all the way back at the end of 2018.
Right. So, that kind of the story around that was that I had a local bar that I went to on a regular basis, and as you and I talked about at the beginning of Project 90, I said, I don't necessarily want to give up my friends or my, social, the social aspects of going there and so on. And you said, hey, you don't have to. You just, here, I'll give you some tools and some techniques to be able to go there and still have a good time and so on, which you did. And one of them was how you order your drink. I'll have a soda with a splash of cran and a lime, fully confident, just like ordering any other drink. And over time, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks into that, one of my bartender friends started calling me the Soda Cran Man. So there you go. And then as I was trying to kind of build in some accountability to my alcohol-free lifestyle, I started a group on Facebook, called the Soda Cran Man, and got some friends and family to start kind of following my journey and so on. And that has been it's been fun to post there occasionally with my updates. And obviously my next update will be 4 years alcohol free.
Incredible. Yeah. You did mention a word there when you were talking in the beginning, which was fiance. Now, you didn't have a fiance when you became a client of ours back in 2018. What happened? How did this come about?
Well, as you know, actually, I was just a year or two out of my second divorce when you and I connected, and I started Project 90. And so, I went for a couple of years and did not have any serious relationships or anything, and then met a wonderful woman. I think I had mentioned her to you probably a year ago, and then in April of this year, as we were traveling up in the Pacific Northwest, we decided to get engaged, and we made that happen. So we are engaged. We haven't set a date as far as getting married yet, but we're enjoying being engaged. And fortunately, I was able to bring her on this trip, and we have just had a wonderful time.
And is alcohol-free John different from alcohol John in the sense that it's created a different type of romantic relationship with your fiance? Like, can you notice an energetic difference in you from alcohol John versus alcohol-free John, and as you show up as a partner in relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that being alcohol-free has made me a different, more present person, and more confident in certain ways. And I don't think that the alcohol John would have been the right type of person for the quality of woman that Rochelle is, my fiance. And it was only because of being alcohol free and all of the benefits and things that I had from that I was really even the right type of person to be able to have a relationship with the quality of person that she is. And absolutely our relationship is different than any other relationship I've had. And I was thinking about that as we were kind of coordinating this call, and I thought about the exercise that you and I had done with the whole group at that wellness weekend that I attended in Venice Beach when I was just having passed the 90-day mark. And you had us do an exercise where you said, where are you going to be a year from now? Where are you going to be 5 years from now? And 10 years from now? And I still have those notes. And one of them was, I will have met the love of my life and developed this wonderful relationship and all these things. And I think I had that at year 5. So it actually happened a little bit sooner than that. Here we are at year 4, and that has occurred, manifested, and accomplished.
Congratulations, John, and congratulations to Rochelle as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the alcohol drinking, John, pre-2018. Well, actually, let's just talk about it maybe in the weeks leading up to when you finally did enroll in Project 90. And just for context for the listener, pretty big deal for someone to enroll in a stop drinking program 5 days before Christmas Day. Middle of the holiday period, parties, time to wind down, time to quote unquote enjoy a few drinks. Very easy to just kind of meander along, partake in drinks and indulgent eating and et cetera, this time of year, right? As we're recording this now, December 2022, but you might be listening to this in January or February of 2023 or even later. That time of year, as you know, I'm sure, listener, is, oh yeah, let's go and have a few drinks. There's parties, there's end of year work functions, no problems. Oh, I'll worry about it in January. I'll join the gym in January. I'll stop drinking on January. Do it next year.
Yeah.
So just tell us a little bit about what were your drinking habits, or what was your lifestyle leading up to that fateful day where you enrolled in Project 90 and decided to go alcohol free?
Sure. So leading up to that, I had been a regular drinker for many years. I would estimate about 35 years, and pretty much daily. Now, I was a relatively responsible person. I was, I have a career and I take care of business and those type of things, but there had been, as I look back, there had been a series of events kind of leading up to that time, and I had come across your information and reached out to you, and you and I talked that day. It was December the 19th, and you kind of took me through the process of evaluating where I was at and where I wanted to go, and we got down to, okay, we're gonna do this, and I, like I'm sure you experience, and I'm sure your listeners think to themselves, I said, well, James, let's just go ahead and we'll put this off until after the new year. And you said, and I kind of rationalized that as, I just can't make a decision like this right now. This is just, and you said, well, how's that working out for you? And I said, oh man, he's got me now. And so once that decision was made, that commitment was made, that investment was made on that day, because basically you kind of made me make a decision, which was fantastic. Looking back, I've thanked you many, many times for that. And I would say to your listeners, and to your point a minute ago, which is, there may never be a right time, but I am so glad that I did make that decision and make that choice on that day, even leading into the holidays, because I was able to use the methods that you teach and so on, to basically make it right through the holidays, alcohol free, able to do everything that I wanted to do that didn't involve alcohol, where that was different for me, because I used to have to make decisions about where am I going to go, and I'm not going to be able to drive from point A to point B because I'm going to, have drinks at this stop and so on. And I didn't have to do that during those holidays and into that new year and so on. And so it really just kicked me off into 2019, and obviously has stuck with me here now for 4 years, and it's just a choice I make every day to be alcohol free, and to choose to treat my body better than I used to.
What were some of the feelings that came up for you in those first 7 days? So it would have been December 20 to December 27.
Mm-hmm.
Was it uncomfortable? Were you white knuckling it? Was it surprisingly simple? Was it challenging? How did it feel, if you can recall those first 7 days?
Well, I never felt, I personally didn't have any like physical withdrawals. And because of the way I'd made the decision, and the way that you got me kicked off and jump started, at that point, I really kind of, as enthusiastic as I was about drinking, I became as enthusiastic about not drinking, about becoming alcohol free. So the only thing I had to really deal with was my people, my social circle, and all of those initial moments when they were like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean you're not going to have a drink? Come on, let's have a shot. Come on, come on, you're just kidding. You got to get, and I basically just had to get through those moments. It really wasn't white knuckling it for me, as much as just letting people know, no, I'm taking a break. I've forgotten how I explained it at the time, but it was really, for me, I became as enthusiastic about not drinking as I had been about drinking. So I made it through okay.
And then, if I recall correctly, physically you started to change.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I lost weight. My skin cleared up, because I was probably just on an ongoing basis relatively dehydrated. from, regular alcohol and so on. And yeah, my face became thinner. Now I've gained a little bit of the weight back that I lost. I think I lost about 20 pounds, through that initial phase, and I've gained a little bit of weight back, fat and happy and in love. And but my hair started to grow better, my fingernails and everything started to grow better, and I got back into working out and getting into basketball again and so on. And here I am now 57 years old, still playing adult league basketball. So it really has gotten me back to the things that I love. And I'm, as you can see from my name here on the Zoom call, I am back to coaching basketball. Also, I'm an assistant coach at a local high school, and have even developed a program for young athletes called the free throw mindset. And one of the kind of principles of it is that, you have to learn how to respond and make choices. And sometimes one of the free throws of life is to not do something. And if I get deep into the conversation with the athletes, I mention, sometimes around drugs and alcohol and things like that, you got to make decisions not to do that. So it's been transformational in so many ways.
Well, I reckon we could put the hair regrowth business out of business with what you just said, because you were just saying, you stopped drinking alcohol and your hair started to get thicker and grow back. Is that right, John? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Just faster, just the shorter time period between haircuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Probably it works for those who still have hair. For those who've lost their hair already, probably doesn't work as well.
Well, yeah.
And then we could also I do. We could
Yeah.
also put Neutrogena and all these other ridiculous moisturizing companies out of business as well by simply not drinking.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I see these ridiculous advertisements. Jennifer Aniston pushing some ridiculous face moisturizer, all these Hollywood celebrities pushing face moisturizers. I'm like, ladies, just stop drinking alcohol and your skin will glow. Your body's largest organ is your skin. And when you drink attractively packaged poison, which is what alcohol is, it dehydrates and ages your skin. But what do you know? When you stop drinking and you increase your intake of water, is it a coincidence that people start saying, oh, wow, you look great. Oh, have you lost weight? Oh, what's going on? Are you in love? What's happening? Just a warning, folks, you do get better looking when you stop drinking alcohol.
I'll tell you what, I've said to many people, it's like the fountain of youth. Seriously, takes me back, gets me back to where I was. Well, honestly, I haven't felt this good since probably my early 20s, really, is what it comes down to. And so it's like the fountain of youth.
And you're 57.
Yep.
Still playing competitive basketball.
Yep.
Pulling fiancés left, right, and center. Not
That's
fiancés,
right.
You know what I mean? Like it just.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Incredible. Now, I also recall that you stopping drinking created a much more present and engaged relationship with your son. Would you tell us about that?
Sure. So at the time, he was one of my main whys. When you asked, why is it that you are considering going alcohol free? He was one of the big reasons. He was, at the time, he was 14 years old, and I had a certain sense of what he had seen up till that point of me at certain times and so on, and was not particularly proud of that or happy with what he had witnessed at certain times. And so I kind of wanted to show him that you could make a change like that and so on. And and I wanted to be more present for him. And that has been the case. Our relationship was good before that, but over these last 4 years, as he was going through high school, he's now graduated, and he's just doing his 18-year-old thing with his job and his car and his girlfriend, and going to school and so on. And he's doing great, and our relationship is wonderful. So yeah, he was a big reason why I did what I did.
What does your son say, if anything, about his dad being alcohol free for 4 years?
Well, the handful of times that we've talked about it, I know that he's very proud of me. I know that he sees the difference. He has said that. Oh yeah, I can see the difference. And I think what will stick with him for a lifetime is that this type of change can occur, and that people can be disciplined, because he has seen other people in his life that were alcoholics, and really unfortunately they couldn't overcome it, and it continued for them, unfortunately. And I demonstrated to him that it doesn't necessarily have to continue, that it's not it's really a choice that can be made. And if you get the help that you need, and the coaching, and make the commitment, it can be done.
Do you have a sense of how he perceives alcohol in his own life? Because if you're 18 years old, I would probably say 90% of 18-year-olds are probably out getting drunk and drinking a lot of booze. And maybe they're going, if they go to college, they're going through the hazing process, and they're joining a fraternity or something where alcohol is the norm. And obviously we don't want to speak for your son, but I'm just curious if there is something that you feel comfortable to share, if there's any, what you sense his perception of drinking and alcohol is at this age.
Right. So we've talked about it a bit, and he definitely has friends that have started that. I mean, been in the presence of it, and so on. But so far, he is kind of the thought of, I just really don't want to go down that path. He has seen the negative effects of it, and he doesn't want to go down that path. Now, that's not to say that he'll never try it, or that the peer pressure might never get to him, but I think he's got the right mindset around it currently. And his group of friends, his close friends, do not seem to be in that doing those type of things either. So it's he kind of avoids people that want to go that route. So far so good.
It sounds like he's got a great role model in his father as well, as to what an alcohol-free lifestyle can be.
Right. Absolutely. Yep.
Tell me, your fiance Rochelle, how much does she drink, or what's her relationship with alcohol?
She will have a glass of wine occasionally, and so on, but in general, we don't drink. It's might be if we're out to dinner with friends or something and have one glass of wine and so on, but does not drink to any extent that's noticeable. She's a health and wellness practitioner, so she's down with she understands the negative effects, and she keeps it to a minimum.
Do you recall the first conversation that you had with her when you were courting or dating her about the fact that you were alcohol free? Did it feel awkward? Was it easy? Was it simple? What was her reaction when you shared that?
Sure. So actually we met through her business, and I had gone into her business when I was probably about 45 days into being alcohol free. So there was no romantic connection or any of that. So I just told her right at that time, hey, yeah, I'm doing great, and I'm 45 days alcohol free, and everything was really going really good and so on. And so we got to know each other a little bit at that point in time. But it wasn't until about a year later that we reconnected and kind of began a more romantic relationship. It still took a little bit of time after that, but she has never known me to be a drinker, and that first conversation was more just two people talking than me trying to justify it or have to explain it or any of that. So it was easy.
Has there been a situation over the past 4 years where people have just been incredulous about the fact that you're not drinking, where they're like, what? You don't drink? Like ever? Like where they're just shocked, and either they're persuading you to drink, or even if they're not persuading you to drink, they just don't understand, or they don't get it, or they challenge you on it. Can you recall such an occasion?
Early on, some of my friends definitely tried to give me we like the old John better than the new John. And really, I think for them, it was just them kind of looking at themselves in the mirror and thinking, man, I wish I could, I wish I could take a break, and I've had probably over these years, I've probably had a handful of conversations around, why is it you don't drink, or what their assumptions are about why I don't drink. And but generally, people have been, they've become fans of me not drinking. Like they were at first, they questioned it, but 30 days in, 6 months in, I see people once a year now, and they're like, John, still not drinking? I said, nope. They're like, way to go, man. Good job. They're like, they're on board with, stick with it, because they're probably just kind of getting deeper and deeper into their, into their lifetime of drinking on a regular basis and so on. So, so I haven't had anybody just get obnoxious about it. No, but I've certainly had people question it and want to know why, and ask me if I felt that I was an alcoholic and those type of things, which definitely in reflection, I think it was just a habit and a routine, and it had just taken me down a path that wasn't serving me anymore, and needed to make that change.
A lot of listeners have shared with me that their biggest fear is getting that question, is feeling like they're being interrogated by people saying, why aren't you drinking? And assuming that you must be an alcoholic, or you must have a drinking problem. Oh, John's got a drinking problem. Oh, I better ask carefully, or better tread lightly here. And so not the greatest fear, but one of the big fears that listeners have shared with me is, how do you navigate that type of interrogation when it comes? So I guess my question to you is, did it feel really awkward, or as awkward as you assumed it might feel when you first had that interrogation, or was it easier than you suspected? And how did you navigate that in a way powerfully where you ended up feeling really good about explaining it eventually?
Oh, there's a lot in that question. I suppose there were times when I was either caught off guard, or didn't feel like talking about it, didn't feel like explaining myself and so on, where I may have felt like, gosh, let's just not talk about it. But I think for me, the keys were that I could explain that I had just I had been a regular drinker for many years, and I had just now chosen, the word choice really is the key. I had chosen just not to do that anymore, and to be alcohol free. So one of the things I know you and I have talked about, and this comes from you, is this whole differentiation between being sober and being alcohol free. I have absolutely, I mean, I have family that now, if we talk about it, it's that I'm alcohol free. They don't go, "Hey, are you still sober?" Like, "Oh yeah, you really sacrificing, you really, white knuckling it," and so on. No, I just choose to be alcohol free, right? And people have gotten used to that. So I think that's a powerful language and difference that you definitely talk about in your Project 90 program. So I've run with that. So I guess there have been occasions when I was uncomfortable when people asked about it, but I just blow them off. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to you.
Like,
yeah, I totally get why it would feel really awkward the first time that you're somewhat inviting that interrogation. But certainly what folks have shared with me, clients and listeners, when they've actually gone through and ultimately shared with people, is that it's never as bad as what they thought it would be. And that the more you do it, the more confident you feel, and the more that others feel and see and observe your confidence, the less of a deal that they make it.
Right.
So, and then it just becomes like you get into this flow state where yeah, I'm alcohol free. Yeah, I haven't drunk in 4 years. And like, yeah, this happened. I feel good. And not from a point of view where you're actually showing off or you're trying to persuade others to join the alcohol free movement. You're just powerfully sharing your story. What was your experience? Yeah. Have others stopped because of you? Have others reduced because they've shared with you that maybe they felt inspired by your journey?
Yes. Yep. And I'm sure there's a number of them that I don't even know about. But my people that have seen kind of my long-term progress and long-term improvement and so on, along the way, I'm sure they have felt like, man, I've got to give that a go. I mean, look what's happening with John as he continues that journey. And I think I am now at the point where they understand that I just don't plan on ever drinking again. I mean, never say never. It's a long time, but they know that, I mean, it's not like one day I'm going to show up and yeah, I'm okay. Give me, hook me up, give me that beer, that type of thing. So, and I have had 2 or 3 friends that directly I've had conversations with them, and they have, they've been inspired enough to go alcohol free for at least a period of time. So yes, that definitely, lead by example has definitely occurred.
And think about the generational transformation that you are creating, that you're the source of, John, because your brother now views alcohol through a different lens. Your friends who have seen you on this journey now view alcohol and their experience of it through a different lens. It sounds like that there's evidence that at least a handful of them have either reduced or stopped, either for a time or for maybe they're consistently alcohol free. So now they're more present, they're more engaged. Maybe their marriage is less strained. Maybe it saves their marriage. Maybe their relationship with their children is now better. And that improves the overall quality of life, improves self-confidence. So they make better choices, or choices that serve them. They've got clarity, they're focused, maybe they're sleeping better. Like this ripple effect that can just extend through generations. And I'm not trying to put mayonnaise on this. I mean, really, you can create generational change here. If your son grows up to have a view of alcohol through let's say a healthy lens, in the point of view is like where he realizes the damaging effects of it. He chooses to be either mostly alcohol free or completely alcohol free. He gets married one day. He has children. His children grow up to observe their father being alcohol free and so forth. That just has this ripple effect through generations. So I really acknowledge you for being 4 years alcohol free and the impact you're seemingly having on not just your family, but friends as well.
Thank you.
You know what was interesting, John? Yesterday, as I'm recording this, I'm in the country of Colombia. I'm in Medellin, Colombia, and I was walking through a shopping mall with my friend Adrian, who was visiting. And the shopping mall was called El Tesoro. And we were just walking through. There's a beautiful view of the city from one of the restaurants inside of the mall. We were just walking through about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and two American guys stopped me. One of them, his name was Gabrielle, and he goes, "James Swanwick." And I looked at him. I said, I don't think I know this guy. I don't recognize him. I'm like, "Hi." He goes, "Oh, Gabrielle." I go, "Hi, Gabrielle. How do I know you?" And he said, "Oh, we've never met before, but I've been following you on your Instagram for about 4 years, and I stopped drinking 3 years ago because of watching your content on Instagram. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that." And then his friend who was standing next to him, if I recall his name correctly, I think his name was Josh. He said, "Yeah, I've known him for 4 years and he stopped 3 years ago. And yeah, he's completely transformed. So great work." I went, "Oh, thank you very much." And I was just thinking, isn't that peculiar that I can be walking through Medellin, Colombia in a shopping mall at 2 o'clock on a Thursday and have someone say, "Hey, you've helped transform my life because I've stopped drinking alcohol." That's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool.
And not cool from a, wow, I'm so great cool, but cool from our actions. People are watching us all the time, even when we don't know it. Your son, your friends, your colleagues, the service staff who offer you a drink in Salzburg in the hotel you're staying at, and you politely decline and order a soda cran. Think about the impact that could be having on that person.
Right. Well, let's do this, James, because if we can kind of finish this, and I'll tell you why, is because I'm getting set now. I have to kind of change my clothes a little bit. I'm getting set to go to the company Christmas party. Right now, this is in Austria, and lots of drinkers and partiers, and I'm sure this is going to be quite the event. But I can tell you that, having gotten to know some of the folks from Austria, they've come over to the US a few times and met me, and one of them specifically knows that I don't drink, and I can guarantee that tonight he is going to make sure I'm lined up with a non-alcoholic drink. Like, here's what, "Oh, John, you head over there. we've got this for you," or whatever. And people start taking care of you, right? They start looking out for you. And
you're the VIP. You're a VIP.
Right. You bet. And by the way, I'm the number one part of this transformation has been much more productive within my career and doing much, I remember when you asked me at the time when I started, where are you at out of 10 in your career? I said, I'm a 4 out of 10. Not that the outside world saw my performance that way, but I knew I was only a 4 out of 10. And I'm probably in the 7 to 8 range now and killing it. So yes, I am a VIP.
Incredible.
Yep.
Incredible. You've doubled your productivity in 4 years from being alcohol free. Amazing.
Right.
In fact, I'll let you go here in a second, John. The University of Florida and the University of Washington are doing a joint scientific study on Project 90 in 2023 to study the workplace outcomes of people being 90 days alcohol free through our Project 90 process. So what you just shared, I'm confident will be the result of the study when the studies comes out kind of the second half of 2023, that people's productivity increases. If they own a business, they generate millions of dollars more revenue. If they're in an executive position, they get a pay rise or they get a promotion. If they're in sales, they earn more commission. All of this is a direct benefit of going alcohol free because you have clarity, focus, energy, direction, positivity, all of those beautiful things that come from being alcohol free.
Yes.
John, go and get ready for your Christmas party in the very fancy Austria. Thank you so much for joining us here and for sharing your story, and congratulations again on 4 years alcohol free. I really acknowledge you. Just a great testament to you and to alcohol free living.
Well, and thank you, James, because you're a big part of that. Got me going and gave me the tools to keep it going. So I appreciate everything you've done for me and all of your people, Kevin and everybody.
All right. Thank you, John. Have a great
All
night.
right.
Have a great
You
year
bet.
and take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.